I'm Katy Jean, so am I. And I'm in Fort Massey Cemetery. And I'm also at Fort Massey Military Cemetery in Halifax. Beautiful day, it wasn't earlier. The wind I thought was gone. This is the part 2, a story in 2 rectangles, which has become 2 more rectangles in the cemetery. There was some things I learned since I filmed this. I don't want to get rid of the whole thing, so I'm just trying to add and then expand where I have to. This one, the leeches. Curious case, April 25th, 1917. The afternoon, 2 bodies are discovered, and it's called a double unsubscribe. They both went to the self-checkout. At about 1:45 this afternoon, the dead bodies of Sergeant and Mrs. Leach, living at 27A Pavilion Barracks, were found there, the throats of both being cut. The horrible tragedy was discovered by a man who called at the house to move a piano. This is a real-life event. Anyway, the man arrives. I have multiple news things about this. The man arrives to move a piano. Fred Leach had called him to move the piano because apparently they were moving to Aldershot. So he comes to move the piano, and he finds 2 dead bodies on a bed. Ladies laying down, half face down, other guys half laying on the bed, and there's blood everywhere. And the guy sees that one guy, cut it out. He calls the police. They're like, oh my goodness. And some sort of fit of romance, they've, moved on together. This keeps going until like the evening. And they're like, wait, was it? Because when the medical examiner arrived, he said, so, yeah, nobody's talking here, okay? He says it's really weird that she had her throat slit because her throat's intact. It was the undertaker that actually discovered she was strangled by her scarf. They were dead about 12 hours. It appears that she had come in from a night out. That's when the papers were like, oh, this might be a thing. And during this time, they're talking to Fred's colleagues and trying to figure out, what happened. And one of the victims, who's still being called, nice guy. He was nice. Soccer goaltender. Well-mannered. Yeah, that sounds not right. He was a great guy. Who wouldn't want to like him? Anyway, the next day it breaks that this is one guy made decisions for everyone and it didn't work out for anyone involved. And so then the press, which this is the Herald, by the way. Sergeant at barracks strangles his wife, then cuts his own throat with a razor. Now they're like, oh wow, we got something. We're cooking now. Insane with jealousy, Sergeant Fred Leach commits premeditated double crime. Formal and lengthy confession was discovered in pocket of the dead soldier's tunic. Now they get into pretty gory details in this. That's him. And that's her. And they're talking about the blood, and then they're like, we can't get into the note because it's too gruesome. It's like, where is your line? Where you just told me the whole room was caked in blood, but you're like, the rest. Anyway, his wife was younger than him, and I guess something happened that he wasn't happy about. She was cheating on him. Was jealous of her life and, let it go. The funeral service had already been kind of planned by the time they figured out, maybe, like I thought, maybe we shouldn't bury these people together. That was weird. Oh yeah, that's them planning it. Funny enough, that same archdeacon presided over my great-grandmother's funeral, which was also sailed the side of the Suez. So that's a fun fact. Also married to a soldier. He shot his second wife. That's a totally different story. We're not getting into that today. Let's keep going. Okay. All right. They're buried together, right? Right. Buried side by side, double service, double S's for everything. Now I'm going to take you over to where they're buried. Now, before we go where they are buried, I found this very interesting, got a little director here, newspaper article from, I believe, 1905-ish. They were setting to close Fort Massey. Well, not close, but kind of retire. My hat is staying on, but the camera is not. How strange. What chaos. They wanted to shut down Fort Massey because it was full in 1905. This happened in 1917. There's burials with God now. Hey, there's burials from the last few years. So yeah, let's go down to where they're buried. It's about to sound like an ad, but I used a lot of paid services to obtain these documents, but I'm going to put them all together so I can share them in an organized link so you can see what I'm talking about, not just referencing. All right, so here's the thing. I got Mr. Leach's British military records, but his Canadian military records, you can't find them, which is weird. Basically anything World War I and before is a click of a button, okay? No. The only thing I can get is his military death record, which states suicide. I'll just say it now, whatever. So here's the thing. It goes more. I can't find anything on his wife, but I did find their marriage certificate. And her name is Kathleen Bell. Who's Catherine? Okay, but here's where we have a story in 2 rectangles. We got even more of a story in 2 rectangles. Now, if you've been watching my death record today, you know that I went to see my uncle's grave the other day, and someone else was in his grave. That's the second time this season that that's happened to me. Now, I can just find bodies, apparently, because there's Fred Leach. There you are. So, like I said in the first video I did, see that? That's Frederick Leach. Right next to him, his wife is buried. That's not Catherine's name. It used to be practice He doesn't know. It's not that guy's fault. So we'll go back to this guy because it is his fault that she has a grave at all. It used to be practiced that you could reuse a grave after about 50 years. Now it's about 75. And at about, he died 1964? Yeah. They waited about 45 years and repurposed the strangled murdered woman's grave. Like, no, that's not his fault. That's not his fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. But, well, but yeah. What the heck? What the heck? I'm just finding bodies left and right here. On the military website, they spell Catherine Cathrine, like I'm a Catherine. If I go down for eternity as the wrong Catherine, I would haunt someone. They also have her death date as April 4th. I don't know if they were trying to save this guy's face or what they were doing, but let's continue. So we got the wrong name, the wrong date on Fort Massey's military website. On the death record, she's Catherine. On their marriage record, she's Kathleen, who apparently both from England. Who are these people? They put another person in a strangled woman's grave. What is going on? They have him down as a war hero. So there's one website where they have like everybody's war records. Him? Nope, because they can't get the records either. They have him down publicly as killed in the war in 1917. And like, sir, you lost some sort of war. I'll give you that. But he didn't die in battle. He didn't die in the theater of war. He killed his wife and then himself. What the? Holy smokes, what a wild ride this has been. Well, sorry, Catherine. You got some other guy. What's funny? We can be a little bit funny here. He killed her because she was in bed with another man, and now look, for eternity, right next to him, she's in a grave with another man. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny, Frederick. Are you find that funny? That's how you get this. Okay. All right. Well, we got a story in 2 rectangles and 3 people in 2 rectangles. I'm getting tired. I'll add the documents all together. How messed up is that? Anyway. And that's a continuance of a week-old death record of today. Alright. Well, we got a story in 2 rectangles and 3 people in 2 rectangles. I'm getting tired. I'll add the documents all together. How messed up is that? Anyway. And that's a continuance of a week-old death record of today. Thank you. I didn't even notice. My mic fell off. Stop messing with the mic, man. Stay here. Stay here. You stay there. Jesus. Thank you.